Thank you, Tiffany. And I'm Alexis. We are here with another exclusive episode of Legit KidLit, a series that features the silly side of authors and illustrators.
Today we welcome Jessica Kim, middle grade author of the sweet and humorous book, Stand Up, Yumi Chung.
Hello everyone, my name is Jessica Kim and I am the author of Stand Up, Yumi Chung, and I'm so excited to be here on Legit KidLit. Thank you, Tiffany. Thank you for Alexis for inviting me. I can't wait to talk to you about my book and about writing and all things books. So for those of you guys who haven't read this book yet, it's a book about 11-year-old Yumi Chung, who is shy. You could say she's a little awkward, and she's having a really hard time fitting in and making friends at her fancy private school. But the thing about Yumi, the thing that makes her interesting is that she loves stand-up comedy. Her parents don't quite understand it, and they wish that she would just buckle down and study for the scholarship exam she has coming up. But Yumi's obsessed. She spends all her time watching her favorite comedian, Jasmine Jasper, on YouTube. And so things get really interesting one day when she's walking home and she stumbles into a comedy camp that is run by none other than Jasmine Jasper, her idol. And so she goes in to take a quick little look, and Jasmine Jasper mistakes her for another camper, and she accidentally ends up stealing her identity. Dun, dun, dun. So this book is kind of like a fast-paced adventure story about a girl who accidentally steals someone's identity and her tangled web of lies that she creates for herself as she tries to please her parents, pass her tests, and also live her comedy dreams. So this is my book. It came out in 2020, and I'm also working on a second book that should be coming out next summer. I'm so excited to be here, and yeah.
We have to ask you, what is your favorite joke?
Do I have a favorite joke? I sure do. I gotta put on this before I tell my joke. All right, here it goes, okay? The past, the present, and the future walk into a bar. It was tense. Ba-dum-bum.
Your book combines humor and serious themes, and it works so well. Why did you choose those two genres to tell your story?
This is gonna sound a little weird, but my favorite thing to hear, my favorite feedback, are when readers tell me that I made them cry. Not because I'm like a sick and twisted person, but because you don't cry unless you care about someone. When you're reading a book and it draws you to tears, that means in some way you made a connection. In some way you were able to feel and understand that character. In the case of Yumi, it really warms my heart when young readers are able to kind of be in her shoes. And that's exactly what every storyteller dreams about. And so I think one way I'm able to get people to care is by making them laugh. And so just like in regular life, just like in friendships and relationships, when you can laugh with someone, you feel a little closer to them, and you feel like you can trust them, and you feel like maybe you want to get to know them better. And so that's one thing that I like to use in my writing. I love funny books. Especially love funny books with heart. And so it's the greatest compliment to hear. So thank you. And yeah, I hope you were able to connect with Yumi and her family in some kind of way.
What's your most embarrassing middle school memory?
My most embarrassing school memory. Wow. But okay, I guess I'll share with you guys. If you promise not to tell anyone. But this must have been in 4th grade. I was in Miss Gammel's class, and we were playing on the playground during recess, and unbeknownst to me, there was a piece of dog poo on the field. Guess who stepped on it? Guess who was wearing Vans? Guess what kind of shoes have those hexagonal little rubber things on the bottom that are impossible to clean? It was terrible. We went back in the classroom and it smelled like the inside of a toilet. And of course, everyone was looking around to see who pooed their pants or who farted. And I had no idea that there was poo on the underside of my shoes. And the teacher actually went around and checked everyone's shoes, and she found that it was me. And it was so embarrassing. I had to go outside and I had to like rinse them off, and it didn't really help. And so I had to take them off. Mortifying. But I survived.
What are 5 things you cannot live without?
Okay, so 5 things I can't live without. All right, that was tough. I thought about it, but here are the 5, okay? Number 1. What is this? I actually got this as a present, and I didn't know what it was. It turns out it's a head massager, and it feels so amazing. And when I'm writing in my office and I'm stressed out, this is my little thinking cap. Kind of jumbles, it like clarifies my thoughts. So there's that. 1, I'm obsessed with this lip gloss. Baby lips. What's so great about the lips of a baby? I don't know. But I love it. Number 3. Spicy dill pickle chips. I love them. Love it or hate them. I know dill pickle is a very controversial topic and people are gonna hate it. But the people who love it, Yum! Number 4. I'm a regular mom. I've got 2 kids. I love them, but I'm also a plant mom. I love my plants. When I go on vacation, I worry about them constantly. Can I take you to see a few? This is my favorite cactus. All right, these are some of my babies. All right, really quickly. Eleanor, Myrtle. That one doesn't have a name. That one is just a jade plant. They're my babies. I'm a plant mom. And number 5, a true writer cannot live without her notebooks. These are mine. Notebooks. I keep notes on all the projects that I've been doing, and I've got stuff that goes back from when I was brainstorming Stand Up Yumi Chung, believe it or not. Oh, and look who's here. Kitty. Can I add that to number 6? I can't live without Winky the cat.
Tell us about your writing rituals.
So remember how I told you about how I love my notebooks? I love my notebooks because so much of my story comes together in my brainstorming. Even before I ever open the laptop, I kind of think a whole lot about my characters and about my plot. And so I do all that by hand. So this one is a notebook. Gosh, this must be from like 2017, 2018, when you guys were just little babies, little kids. And here's all my notes that I took when I was planning Stand Up Yumi Chung. And you'll see like I type out the summary. I'll like make a quick summary of what the story is going to be about. But like the story changes so much in the process. This one is from 9/25/17, so September 25th, 2017. After bringing home a D in algebra, 11-year-old Yumi Chung has been sentenced to an entire summer at Mrs. Park's Ivy League Tutoring Center. So like obviously that's changed. She wasn't like a bad student in the final version, but like that was just kind of like one of the earlier versions. But I keep like writing new ones. Like here's one later that month, and I'm constantly like tinkering with it and changing it. This one's like a mess, but you can see that I like to tape in some stuff that I printed out on my printer, and I just kind of tinker with it from there. So yeah, that's one parts of my writing ritual is like constantly rewriting the plot and thinking about it. I don't just like go into my laptop and freestyle and like the story comes out all perfect. No. That's not how it works. There's a whole lot of planning and thought that goes behind it. And here's another thing I like to do is I like to make little charts to plan out my chapters. This one is like the chapter description. I list all the characters that are in that chapter, where the setting is, what the comedy piece was, and then the plot purpose. and I have like all the different chapters organized like that, so I can kind of map out, because I don't want to have the same setting too much, and I don't want to have the same characters or forget about this other storyline, so that kind of helps me organize. The other cool thing I like to do is I like to take my favorite movies that are kind of similar to the story I'm writing, and I like to kind of like do a side-by-side chart of the scenes, because the longer you study story, the more you realize like every story kind of has like certain elements. They call them beats in screenwriting. And so I was thinking, ooh, I really love stolen identity stories. So I was thinking of some of my favorite stolen identity stories, and I thought of Disney's Mulan. And so what I did was I made a chart with Mulan and then Yumi, and then I wrote like the scenes. I know it's kind of backwards on the screen, but I kind of did the side by side. I'm not copying Mulan, but I'm kind of taking the beats of the story and making sure that I have my own version of that in my Yumi story, so that the pacing of it is fast and entertaining in a way that I loved in Mulan. And so if there's a story that you love, you can do like your own version. Some people do like fan fiction, or some people do different, like rewrite from a different perspective, that same story, but with your own twist. I think that's a really great way to get started, and you get really good at story structure the more you do it. So those are some cool rituals that I have that I always use in my handy dandy notebook.
Inquiring minds want to know, are you doing author visits, and what can educators find on your website?
Yes, I love author visits. If you visit my website, www.jesskimwrites.com, I've got a whole section there for author visits. I do virtual and in person, and I'm so excited to start filling my calendar for next year. As far as materials for educators, I used to be a teacher, and so you're in luck if you go on my website. I've got tons of stuff for you, discussion questions and word searches and all kinds of like fun activities, free printables that you can pass along to your students. And yeah, I think it makes for a really great book club choice as well. So you'll find discussion questions on there as well.
We reached out to a few viewers to see what they wanted to learn about Jessica. Here are a few questions.
What an awesome question. Okay, so I thought about it, and Yumi would definitely get along with Ben from My Life as a Potato. Ben is kind of awkward like Yumi, and this is also like a stolen identity, or not really stolen identity, but he's like the mascot, and nobody knows he's like the potato. So it's a super funny, cute story about this boy who's living like this little double life situation. So check it out if you haven't read it. I love this book. It's a newer book. It's called Freddy versus the Family Curse. And if you liked Yumi, you're gonna love Freddy. Freddy is like, he's just cursed. Like all these terrible things just are always happening to him. And things get really interesting when the guy on the mysterious amulet comes to life and turns out to be one of his relatives from the past, and it kind of guides him through how he's going to break the family curse. And so hilarious. I love this cousin story. Super family vibes. If you like that in Yumi, you'll love it in this one also. Okay, LOL, laugh out loud. Lupe Wong won't dance. It's like the funniest book. I gotta read the first line to you because it's like my favorite. My gym shorts burrow into my butt crack like a frightened groundhog. Like, that's so funny. Lupe, it's kind of like Yumi, where she's got an idol for her. It's a baseball idol who she's dying to meet. So it's kind of like that Jasmine Jasper thing with Yumi, but her parents say she has to get straight A's or she can't meet this baseball player, and that means she has to get an A in PE, which means she has to square dance with her arch nemesis, and it's like it's the funniest story. So check it out. And then this one's very cute. It's called Keep It Together, Keiko Carter, and it's about Keiko who's going through some friend drama. I think her and Yumi would get along because she's so sweet and she's so nice. This is like about crushes and friend drama, and I think it would be a really good compliment to Yumi. My inspiration for stand-up Yumi Chung, to tell you the truth, comes from real life. So you know how Yumi loves stand-up comedy, but she's unsure if she's good enough to pull it off, if she actually has what it takes, the talent and all that. And so she kind of second guesses herself, she doubts herself. Well, guess what? Those were all very real feelings that I was feeling about writing. So no, I never went to comedy camp, and no, I've never done improv or any of those things. But I have always loved writing, and I've always wanted to write, but I wasn't sure if I had what it took to get published, to become an author. And so just like Yumi, I would write secretly by myself, but I didn't really want to tell people about it because I was afraid. I was afraid that I wouldn't be able to accomplish my dream. And so I really want to write a story about somebody who wants to be creative but is feeling scared, because I was feeling the same way. So hopefully, if you've ever felt that way, you can be encouraged too. So it's kind of like asking someone, how long did it take you to play the piano? You know, some people just pick it up really easily. Some people, they take years to get started. So writing's kind of the same way. For me, it took like a year and a half for me to finish my first book, which actually never got published. But Stand Up Yumi Chung took about 8 or 9 months to write. So it was completely different. But then my second book, was actually coming out, my third finished manuscript, took like 2 years. So it's hard to say how long. It also depends on how much time you have to write and how fully developed your ideas are. So yeah, it's kind of all over the place. So people like to categorize writers as plotters or pantsers. And plotters are people who meticulously plan out every little detail of their plot. And then pantsers are people who fly by the seat of their pants, woo, with no real plan, and they just kind of write as they go, and they kind of figure it out as they're writing. And truly, all of us it's more of a sliding scale. I tend to be on the planning side, as I showed you my notebooks before. I like to really know where the story is going to go, so emotionally I know how to feel in that scene. And so I'm a big time plotter. I have 2 full notebooks. This is my second book, the book that's coming out next summer. And it took me a really long time to figure out the story. Like I said, about 2 years for this one. And I am just plotting. Here are my notes where I'm trying to figure out the story and what the scenes should be. And it takes a whole lot of thought that goes into how the plot's gonna go, and what the character's gonna experience, and how she's gonna grow and mature by the end. And so I even have a parking lot of ideas where I just kind of have this oh, I really want to write a scene about a bathroom incident, and stepping on poo with Vans on or something like that. I would just stick that here. I don't exactly know where that fits into the story, and not all of them make it, of course, but I do kind of like to just have it there in case I do. So yeah, big time planner. I'm super organized, and I love charts and color coding and taping things in and writing notes to myself, and that really helps me organize my thoughts. But I also have other writer friends who do none of those things, and they just woo, fly by the seat of their pants. So it's kind of cool to see everyone's process is so different. There's so many ways to get to the end of a story, and that's just mine.
Thank you so much, Jessica. We had so much fun chatting with you today.
Thank you again, Tiffany and Alexis. I had so much fun filming these, and I can't wait for all your viewers on YouTube to meet Yumi Chung. And so if you haven't yet, please check out my website, www.justkimwrites, and hopefully be able to meet you there.